Welcome back to part 2 of Ikaruga for the Nintendo GameCube. This part of the game actually becomes pretty hectic. Yo, almost died there. Sure. But fortunately, I'm absorbing as a lot of stuff, so I'm able to clear the screen with the homing lasers. I know that actually kind of sounds silly, homing lasers. I'm not even sure if it's even called that, because, like I said, this game was made in Japan, and there really isn't a lot of stuff to go by. Like, for instance, the story. I did not know the story until I went to Wikipedia. I mean, I guess the story doesn't really matter, but it is actually kind of neat to know what's going on here and who's who. And I mean, am I even playing as the good guy? Well, good news is that yes, I am playing as a good guy. In fact, I've got a few notes here. Sure. I mean, this mini boss is very, very long, and just dodging these things is so difficult. Anyways, the story goes, so you're playing as a character called Shinra, who sort of like trying to, it's sort of like the plot of Star Wars, actually. You try to overthrow a mighty empire that has effectively taken over the world, basically. And but the thing is that you were fighting along with a I just died there. I wish I could have seen that. You were fighting along a rebel, I guess you could say a rebel squadron of some sort. But unfortunately, the enemy forces were just too great that everyone in your squad were killed, and only you survived. But fortunately, your ship crash landed in nearby a village, which happens to be called Ikaruga. So the village of Ikaruga actually houses a bunch of old retired people. Like, apparently these people have been exiled into the wild because apparently they did not stand for the ideals of the empire, so they were exiled into the wild. But fortunately, some of these old folk that lives in the Ikaruga village are actually very intelligent engineers, and they developed a ship, which is this ship, named after their village, the Ikaruga. And this ship is the only ship in the fleet, or in any fleet, that can actually switch between the two polarities, and that's what makes your ship so special. Just crazy chaining stuff going on here. I'm not even trying. I'm just hoping that I chain a few here and there. This part is actually kind of interesting. Instead of destroying every ship on the screen, I choose to just destroy just the white guns, because the black ones won't harm me as long as I stay in the black polarity. The reason why I am in the black polarity is because the background is relatively dark compared to the white bullets, so it's easier to spot the white bullets without focusing too much on the game. I mean, you're using your peripheral vision, sort of the full spectrum of your field of vision. This is hectic. Normally I don't die here, but I died here once just because of I got confused. That happens a lot in Ikaruga. Sometimes you get confused, like sometimes you forget which polarity you are in. In fact, that's the only complaint I have with this game, really, other than the fact that it might be a bit too difficult. And that is that you have a single button that is there for just switching between polarities, as opposed to having excuse me, two buttons, one representing each polarity. I think it would be easier that way, because that way you don't have to remember which polarity you were in. And I never die at that section. I was incredibly unlucky. But anyways, whatever. This is Ikaruga. This is one of the hardest games I've ever played, so I probably should not be too upset for dying a few times, even though it's on easy, because easy on Ikaruga is much harder than Contra and many other games out there. So why do I like this game, even though it's notoriously difficult? Well, because it's dynamic and there's a lot of strategy. And what's great is that you don't have to do things the same way. There's several ways of taking down these ships. As you can see, I took down that boss fight quite quickly, and that's because I found a few techniques that make it quite easy to do. I must say though, I did try this on normal difficulty, and when I'm in that little shaft right next to the core of that boss fight, that shaft actually fires lasers, so it does make it really difficult to take down that boss. Yes, this is probably my most favorite level. Yes, it is the final level, and yeah, this game actually isn't very long, which is good because you don't want really difficult games to be, you know, very long, because half the fun is really just playing it over and over again, trying new things and just memorizing some of the patterns here. But anyways, I remember this part. I actually die here because I didn't see that little ship that was right behind my ship. I never die in this section, so it's kind of disappointing, but that's okay because, like I said, it's still a pretty hard game. Don't have to beat myself up for messing up occasionally. Some of these ships look really intimidating, but you know what? It's one of the easiest parts of the game. Just stay in the white polarity and you'll be okay. I like to think of these guys as refueling your energy to prepare yourself for the final boss. Now, you might think, oh, we're already at the final boss. Well, here's the thing. This is actually a really long final boss. Most of the stage 5 is just this boss. Of course, this boss has several different, what do you call it, forms. This used to be really difficult, but once I tried to wrap my head around what's actually going on, it becomes manageable, and that's what Ikaruga is. You might think it's really difficult, but if you just wrap your head around what's going on, then you can do quite well. This is actually really difficult. It doesn't look very difficult, but it does. These guys, they just keep following you, and they just won't leave you alone. Trying desperately to switch to the opposite polarity to take down that black head. Black head, sorry. You know what I mean. Because I don't know how long I can hold on for. No, I couldn't do it. Okay, this is, I'm not kidding, one of the most interesting parts of the game, but it is the most hectic. Okay, just watch. All right, so I absorb a bunch of bullets. He's using homing lasers as well, and he's shooting bullets, and he's switching polarities just like me. This is insane. This is really difficult. I mean, just watch. Just look at this. Look at this. Of course I died. That is just, oh. But even though I had to now use a continue because I lost all of my lives, I'm not angry. That's the best part about it, because there's such a good feeling to beating these bosses, knowing that I could do it. I just need to refine my techniques. Nice big massive explosion. Oh, it's not over yet. So there is an artifact that the Empire uses that gives them all this power, that allowed them to overtake the planet, basically. And that's the artifact right there. That we're busy fighting the artifact. You might be wondering why I'm not shooting. That's because I cannot shoot, and there was a stray bullet, random little stray bullet that killed me that I did not see. The worst thing about these patterns is that, yes, it's easy to dodge stuff like this, but there are occasional bullets that just fly randomly. You know, it's the random stuff that really makes this game difficult. But as you can see, I believe my ship has overheated, so it actually cannot fire back. So all I'm doing now is just trying to survive. But as I'm dodging these things, I'm also absorbing a lot of energy. You don't see the energy bar. In fact, we have no idea how much energy we are absorbing. Okay, I die again. But anyways, the point is that I'm absorbing a ridiculous amount of energy, and it's probably not good for the ship. It's probably damaging some instruments on the ship. I don't know if you can hear this. We give everything we have. Yeah, that was a shock for me when I first played this game, or when I first beat the game, because it took me quite a few tries. I died in the process to destroy that artifact. So, yeah, I mean, I had no idea that, a game like this could have such an impact on me. Bear in mind, I've been playing this game for a couple of days before I finally beat it, and I've gotten so accustomed to I've been reading up on the characters and the story, and I'm like, man, I really want to beat this game because I really want this character to succeed. And it really made an impact when I saw that the character died in the process to save everyone from this great power that the Empire was using for ill intent. For those that don't know, those birds, the name of that species of bird is Ikaruga. And as you can see, they have white and black marks on them. So yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's just a shoot 'em up, but there's so much symbolism and backstory and hidden messages in this game. And there's whole forums and internet sites that talk about these things. I mean, and it's interesting to read up on some of these things. I said that 3 people made this game, but eventually they did get more help from other studios. It started off as 3 people, but when people started to see what these 3 guys were doing, people started to realize that, wow, this is actually going to be quite an interesting game. Maybe we should give them more help. I'm not saying Treasure is just 3 guys. I'm just saying that 3 people that worked at Treasure worked on this game. So yeah, that's Ikaruga. It's one of those games that have a lot of replay value because I still don't get sick of it, no matter how many times I play it. So yeah, I really like this game, and you guys probably should check it out. In fact, it's very easy to get hold of. It's on Xbox Live Arcade. It's more importantly, this game has been released on Steam, so now a lot of people do not have an excuse to not get this game. If you like, high action, difficult, and yet really enduringly fun games. So yeah, thank you for watching, and take care.